image like no other, inspiring decades of research and debate. The Shroud of Turin, that's a piece of history, and it has an ongoing puzzle for science.
More than 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ, one of the most influential figures in history, was born. When he began his ministry in Judea, he proclaimed himself to be the Son of God, a declaration that ultimately led to his crucifixion. According to Christian belief, Jesus rose from the dead after spending 2 nights in the tomb, and this resurrection became the foundation of the Christian faith. Among all the relics connected to Jesus, none has sparked more fascination and debate than the Shroud of Turin. Some believe it offers powerful evidence of the resurrection itself. While many scientists have dismissed the shroud as a medieval creation, largely because of earlier carbon dating tests, it has remained the subject of intense research. Despite ongoing skepticism, the cloth continues to draw attention, almost as if it holds a mystery beyond human explanation. Over the years, new clues have emerged, suggesting the shroud may truly bear the image of one of Christianity's holiest moments, the resurrection of Jesus. In a remarkable breakthrough, researchers recently uncovered a name inscribed on the cloth, something many now consider strong evidence supporting the shroud's authenticity. Before exploring this astonishing discovery, it's worth looking back at the shroud's deep historical roots. In the Gospel of John, the burial cloths left behind in Jesus' tomb are described in detail, a key element in John's belief that Jesus had risen. Many today believe the Shroud of Turin could be the very cloth that wrapped Jesus' body after his crucifixion and resurrection. Even so, lingering doubts about the shroud's authenticity have made it challenging to piece together its complete history. The earliest known reference appears in 1389, which mentions a public display held in 1355 in Liry, France, by a French knight named Geoffrey de Charny. Even at that time, people questioned whether the cloth was genuine. Bishop Pierre d'Arcy of Troyes wrote to the Pope, insisting that the shroud was simply an artistic creation, a fraudulent painting meant to deceive the faithful. In 1453, the shroud was transferred to Italy's royal family, the House of Savoy, where it stayed for more than 5 centuries. After the death of King Umberto II in 1986, ownership of the relic was formally passed on to Pope John Paul II and the popes who followed starting in 1464. The shroud was housed in a specially constructed chapel in Chambéry, nestled in the French Alps. A major event took place there on December 4, 1532, when a fire broke out and damaged the cloth. Many believe this fire may have contributed not only to the shroud's current appearance, but also to the ongoing controversy surrounding its authenticity. The highly debated carbon dating test from 1988, which indicated the shroud came from the medieval era, may have been influenced by contamination or damage from past events. In 1578, the relic was transferred to the Royal Chapel of the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy, where it would gain worldwide recognition as the Shroud of Turin. What truly sets the shroud apart is the incredibly detailed, 3-dimensional image of a full human body imprinted on it. The cloth shows a vivid, lifelike image of a crucified man, so unlike anything else known in history that many believe it to be the image of Jesus Christ himself. Even with today's cutting-edge technology, the shroud remains an unsolved mystery. For more than 115 years, researchers have tried and failed to recreate the image or explain all of its unusual characteristics. The Shroud of Turin has sparked debate, fascination, and scientific inquiry for decades. And despite ongoing skepticism, a growing body of evidence continues to point toward a powerful connection to Jesus Christ. You might remember the 1988 carbon dating tests that cast doubt on the shroud's authenticity. But in the years since, those results have faced strong challenges, especially because they don't align with other scientific methods, archaeological evidence, or the physical characteristics of the cloth itself. Now, let's turn to the groundbreaking research of Dr. Gilbert Lavoie, who has spent more than 2 decades combining medical expertise with biblical scholarship to study the shroud. His latest findings present striking evidence that the shroud may actually capture the very moment of Jesus' resurrection. Dr. Lavoie argues that the image on the shroud does not show a body lying flat, as many have long assumed. Instead, it seems to portray a person in an upright position. In the front image, the hair falls naturally to both sides of the face, exactly how it would if the individual were standing rather than resting horizontally. The same pattern appears in the back image, where the hair drapes over the shoulders and down the back, further supporting the idea of an upright posture. This detail is incredibly important because gravity affects the body and hair differently depending on whether a person is standing or lying down. To explore this idea further, Dr. Lavoie and his team ran a series of experiments using an unclothed individual lying on a glass surface. Artistic illustrations from these tests show the subject's hair falling backward and flattening against the glass. The body also showed clear compression in areas like the back, buttocks, and lower legs, compression that is completely absent from the image on the shroud. This finding raises even more questions about the shroud and the mysterious image imprinted on it. As scientists continue to investigate, the Shroud of Turin remains one of the most captivating and hotly debated relics in the world. For many years, it was assumed that the figure on the shroud was lying flat in a traditional burial position, but the image itself challenges that idea. Instead of showing a body in a horizontal pose, it reveals anatomical details that match someone standing upright. The way the hair falls and the position of the body strongly suggest that the figure was not lying down at all. It appears to be standing. Even more astonishing, the figure doesn't seem to be resting on any surface. It looks as though the person is suspended in the air. This leads to a profound question. Why does the figure appear to be floating? According to some researchers, the answer may lie within the Bible. They believe this remarkable image could be capturing the very moment of Jesus Christ's resurrection. More scientific research continues to strengthen the connection between the shroud and Jesus. One remarkable example comes from Dr. Joseph Kolbeck, who identified tiny traces of limestone and soil embedded in the fabric. The type of limestone he found, Jerusalem limestone, is commonly found in and around the Holy City, especially in ancient burial sites. What makes this finding even more striking is that the limestone on the shroud closely matches samples taken near the Damascus Gate in Jerusalem, only a short distance from Golgotha, the traditional location of Jesus' crucifixion. This strongly suggests that the man wrapped in the shroud may have walked through Jerusalem's streets shortly before his death. The image on the cloth also shows vivid signs of physical suffering that align with the biblical account of Jesus' path to the cross. Scrape marks on both shoulders indicate that he carried something heavy and rough, likely a wooden crossbeam. Another injury on the knee suggests he fell while walking, with dirt stains left behind as evidence. Other parts of the shroud reveal a mix of soil and blood, implying that his head may have struck the ground during the fall. The pattern of wounds resembling thorn punctures across the scalp clearly points to the crown of thorns described in the Gospels. One especially intriguing detail is the wound on the wrist, which measures roughly 1 square centimeter. Interestingly, in Rome, the Church of the Holy Cross of Jerusalem holds several relics believed to have been found by Saint Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine. Among these artifacts is a crucifixion nail, and it measures exactly 1 square centimeter. This matches the size of the wrist wound visible on the shroud, adding yet another layer of meaning and mystery to this extraordinary cloth. The Shroud of Turin also shows a distinct elliptical wound on the right side of the body, about 2 inches wide. Consistent with the type of spear Roman soldiers used. Even more fascinating, the image reveals a clear separation between red blood and a lighter transparent fluid. This separation is a known medical effect that occurs when a person has died and experienced a deep, traumatic wound. This detail mirrors the description in the Gospel of John, which says that blood and water flowed from Jesus' side. The shroud's unique features line up with only one known historical account, pointing unmistakably to a single, extraordinary individual. Perhaps the most moving aspect of the shroud is the pattern of bloodstains, believed by many to be the actual blood of Jesus. To countless observers, these are not just marks on ancient fabric. They are symbols of the immense suffering he endured and the sacrifice he made for humanity. When all of these details are considered together, they add significant weight to the growing evidence supporting the shroud's authenticity, and speak deeply to the pain, purpose, and story of the man it appears to portray. Adding even more support to its ancient origins, researchers have discovered traces of 49 different types of pollen on the shroud. Remarkably, 33 of these come from plants native only to the region of Palestine, and 3 are found exclusively around Jerusalem. This botanical evidence strongly suggests that the shroud was present in that area during the spring months, likely between March and April. Some experts even believe one of these plants could have been used to make the crown of thorns. The mystery deepens with another intriguing detail. Physicists John Jackson and Eric Jumper noticed faint circular marks over the figure's eyes. They proposed that these shapes could be ancient coins placed on the eyes, as part of a traditional Jewish burial practice in the 1st century. Even more compelling is the fact that the size and markings of these coins match those minted during the rule of Pontius Pilate, dating from 2 BC to 33 AD. The cloth itself also points to its historical roots. Its dimensions, exactly 2 by 8 cubits, an ancient unit of measurement, fit the standards of the time. Additionally, it features a 3-inch wide side strip attached with a distinct sewing technique. Interestingly, this specific stitching method is known to have been used only in Palestine during the 1st century, providing yet another strong link to that period and location. For centuries, medieval art portrayed crucifixion victims with nails driven through the palms, but archaeological discoveries now show that the nails were actually placed through the wrists, a method that offered better support and allowed the victim to lift their body to breathe. The nail wounds seen on the shroud match this historical reality perfectly, offering further evidence in support of its authenticity. As if all of this weren't astonishing enough, a groundbreaking discovery by researchers in Palermo, Italy, has added a completely new layer to the mystery. They found that the image on the shroud isn't entirely still. Instead, it shows faint signs of motion, similar to what we see in strobe or time-lapse photography, where movement is recorded in rapid bursts of energy. Their analysis suggests that the figure on the shroud shifts slightly in position. Subtle changes in the hands, feet, and chest even resemble the natural movements of breathing. Because of this, some researchers now believe the shroud may have captured the actual moment of resurrection. Building on this astonishing idea, the International Center of Studies on the Shroud of Turin in Paris uncovered yet another remarkable detail. Hidden within the fibers of the cloth, they found mysterious inscriptions that can't be easily explained. Near the chin area, they detected 3 evenly spaced lines, distinct from the body image, appearing where no figure is shown at all. To uncover these markings, scientists analyzed high-resolution shroud photographs by dividing them into tiny squares, assigning each one a brightness value, and processing the data using advanced imaging software. Gradually, faint letters began to emerge, written in both Latin and Greek. One especially striking inscription contains the word Nazarene, a direct reference to Jesus. Experts believe this text may have originally been written on a separate document placed over Jesus' face, a burial practice sometimes used to identify the deceased. Over time, the ink from this document could have naturally transferred onto the linen, leaving behind these soft but powerful traces. Interestingly, researchers discovered that the inscription does not interfere with the shroud's mysterious image at all. This is an important detail because it rules out the idea that the writing was added during medieval times. Scholars also point out that no Christian, especially not a medieval forger, would have dared refer to Jesus simply as a man, leaving out any mention of his divine nature. Doing so could have been considered heretical and extremely dangerous. Further analysis of the inscription, enhanced with modern imaging techniques, shows that the lettering closely matches writing styles used in the Middle East during the 1st century, the exact period when Jesus lived. All of this evidence together builds a strong case that the figure shown on the shroud is Jesus Christ, the man believed to have sacrificed himself for the salvation of humanity. This leads us to a deeply significant question. How essential is the resurrection of Jesus to the Christian faith? The answer is simple. It is absolutely central. Without the resurrection, the heart of Christianity, God's saving grace through Jesus, would have no foundation. By rising from the dead, Jesus confirmed that he was truly the Son of God and completed his mission of redemption, atonement, and salvation. His resurrection wasn't just symbolic or spiritual, it was a real, physical event. According to all four Gospels, Jesus' body was genuinely restored to life early on Sunday morning. A group of devoted women went to Jesus' tomb to finish the burial rituals. When they arrived, they were shocked to see that the massive stone sealing the entrance had been rolled away, and the tomb was empty. In the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, an angelic figure appears and delivers the astonishing message: Jesus has risen. In the Gospel of John, a deeply emotional moment unfolds as Mary Magdalene speaks to a man she assumes is the gardener. But when he calls her name, she instantly recognizes that it is Jesus, alive. Although the Gospel accounts differ in some details, they all share one undeniable truth. In the days after his resurrection, Jesus appeared to many of his followers who saw him, spoke with him, and experienced his presence firsthand. The resurrection is the core of the Gospel. It is the fulfillment of God's plan to redeem humanity. It reminds us of the immeasurable sacrifice made by the Messiah, the Son of the living God, who gave his life so the world could be saved now. He reigns at the right hand of God, and one day he will return in glory to restore and renew our broken world.